everybody, how are you? Yeah, it's me, Jose. Now, what you're looking at is me playing around with OBS. And for that, I am going to have to do this. Minimize a bunch of stuff, and hopefully, the way I have it set up, you should be able to see me in the corner. If not, I messed it up, and I apologize. I'm not familiar with OBS running on Fedora 37 KDE. It's a little buggy. But then again, some of the other things I've discovered on this are a little buggy. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not being a hater, I'm just pointing out what's obvious. I switched the background from what the original one was. I like them both, and there are others. Nice whimsical touch here, I like that. I also like the fact that KDE is set up in a way that if you're a Windows user, it's not that hard for you to actually figure out what you want to do. See what I mean? The Linux aspect is like you hover over something and it breaks you down the applications in that section, unless you want all applications like that. But you also have your settings and your system menus here also. If I want just to sleep or restart, they're down here. That's all well and good. And if you right click, you can create new, you got to create a new folder, create text files, even an HTML file. It's not hard if you're used to using Windows, which is great. Now, I liked that part of Fedora 37. I have Fedora 37 running on the system, which is the GNOME version. I'm not a big fan of GNOME. That's just an aesthetic thing as far as I'm concerned. But it does work better. I'm just putting it out there. This is still newer, so I'm pretty sure the developers, the contributors are still working on these things. I do like the fact that they have widgets here. I'm very curious. I like to play around with these things. Binary clock, that looks really cool. Has something like that just floating around. Why is it just stuck there? I don't know. Let's see, show alternatives. Analog clock, calendars. And switch. There you go. Can I move this? Now this is going to be a problem for me. If I can't move it, I got a problem. So let me get rid of this thing. Now, I didn't initially create this to be a review of Fedora 37. And yeah, I'm that guy, the one who actually will use the full name of the distribution and probably the full name for other things too. What can I say? I'm a little old school that way. Now, this background is cute. We could change it out here. I believe the original is somewhere up here. If not, we could see some other stuff. This looks cool. Has a nice slick modern look. And let's see our desktop settings. Right now I'm using dark mode, or like, I believe I'm in dark mode. But let's see. Blue light filter makes colors on the screen warmer. That's nice. Compositor, don't really care. Let's move on. Now, it's not like I actually have any comments on my YouTube or on my blog, so I don't know if anybody's asking me why am I doing this or not. A while back, when I was doing a job search, I listened to a couple of other people that were asking, well, what do you know? Do you know Active Directory? Do you know networking? know about cybersecurity? Do you know how to harden a system? Do you know about virtualizing systems, creating a virtual image that you can drop on a bunch of clients? That way you don't have to worry about doing a rollout quickly, or just creating an image server and then just rolling out systems, bare metal systems, or whatever clients are being used. Just move on from there. The short version is, I get a lot of questions asking me if I know these things. Some of these things I do, some I don't. So I'm experimenting. And for the long and short of it, this is also more like a visual resume. So if someone asks me, I can refer back to this or refer them to take a look and see what I've done. Also, it's like a visual notebook. I can go back and just refresh my own memory. So it's serving a couple of different purposes. Now, if anybody's got any questions for me, I guess I'm going to have to actually open up comments at some point. If you're accessing me either through LinkedIn or through the blog, you could just shoot me an email. I can't promise you that I'm going to answer every question in creation, but if it's something reasonable and I have the time, I don't see the problem. Now, what else is there to show here? Okay, sorting by icons, refresh your desktop, panel, lock screen, cool. Now, this Discover Software Center. It didn't have OBS. I had to install it. Now, it does, I believe, I can also update. Yeah, I got a couple of updates that I can do here. And this is just giving me a list of software. Install it or remove it. If I want to just go into certain sections, as you can see, there's a bunch of stuff here that I just don't have installed. I just found out recently that I can actually install Flatpak, so that's pretty cool. I also tried installing TeamViewer. That did not work out too well. Apparently TeamViewer works well in Fedora 37, the GNOME edition, but in this KDE, they use Wayland, and I really don't know too much about that, but I do know that every other Linux distribution I have TeamViewer on works, but I can't log into this thing just because it's slightly different, because it's using Wayland. And I can't find a version that will work on it as is. I guess I'm going to have to actually look up the bash script and get the exact version that I need that way. That's something for later. I'm going to cut this short. This wasn't really intended to be, what's the term I'm looking for? A review video on the distribution. I mean, I could do that for other distributions, and I am going to be loading other distributions, but that's more for me to learn and to practice. And if I find something useful, I will share. But for now, I think I'm going to call it quits and call it a good night.